Hi, happy day, and thank you for visiting my channel. If you're new here, my name is Miriam, and I am a numerologist. My vanilla bean skin is still burning. Oh, mine is not. Oh, really? I want more attention. Of course, as soon as I touch it. Or whatever. Here's my vanilla bean skin. I recommend y'all do that anytime y'all feel like saging or whatever. I don't know why, just intuitively I started doing it. But hi, my name is Miriam. Um, that's if you're new here. Hi, my name is Miriam. Today I'm going to be eating my breakfast, chicken and liver. Um, Today I cooked the chicken with Celtic sea salt and ghee, and added the liver in, and that's what we're eating today. I currently eat this way because I have to. Not forever, just for some time. Because I am one afraid of food because almost all food that I eat that isn't meat will cause extreme bloating and excessive constipation. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I got SIBO or like what like caused the SIBO necessarily. I have um my suspicions. Um, when I was a kid, I had strep throat like 6 or 7 times a year, every year. I've always had issues with food. I've always had like some immune issues. At one point, I had patches of vitiligo. I still have like some small patches of vitiligo, but it's kind of relaxed a bit more. And so I choose to eat with my hands. Um, Lets me know about temperature gauge and stuff for my mouth and have a bit more sensory thing. And let's just say I was born year of the dog. And I eat like a dog. Not necessarily with hands, but I eat a lot of meat. I think any dog eating this would be so happy. And so I do actually find a lot of joy and satisfaction in eating meat. So I'm thankful for that because some people don't crave meat. They don't want to eat the meat. They don't like meat. I got over the whole wanting to be vegan thing or like for moral reasons a long time ago because when I went vegan, um, it actually worsened all of my things. Because turns out when you have SIBO, vegetables, fruit, grain, any sugar, all feed the bacteria. And they continue to feed the bacteria. And in my case, it slows down um, the motility. A lot of people get the other end. Like honestly, like it's both. They're both the bowels of hell. Okay, and I'm gonna talk to you about bowel movements while I eat meat. Okay, because it don't bother me. Um, but some people will just straight up have a much different experience where they aren't able to hold it in, and it's through the night. It's at all times. Like it really becomes so loud. And my version of SIBO is just a bit more like resentful, holding a grudge, I guess. And so, temporarily, I'm going to be extremely strict on my meat diet. So then I can eventually have ice cream again. A cookie. Now, let me tell you about my meats. Because I mainly eat meats, it's important to know savory meats and sweet meats and all that. Because I'll eat a little bit of sweetness. And every once in a while, I still really need some sweet, so I've been making Jell-O with stevia and ginger. Lots of ginger, like juice in there to help. I say lots, but even like a small amount is a lot because it's so spicy. But to make a spicy ginger Jell-O with pure stevia leaf. I do not get a powder of like, so it's not white, it's gonna be green. It is the herb. I make a water, or I steep that separately, and then I have like this sweet stevia juice that's available that I can add into my gelatin with some ginger. Eat that down. No fibers inside of the Jell-O because the fibers and the things are a lot of times what things feed off of. I'll have some ginger fiber because that ginger is, and turmeric, I'll do that too. Because that'll come in and like, fine, come touch me, fuck with me then, in my head. But that's my sweet treat hack. I tried a zucchini yesterday. I did get bloated. I don't get bloated with carrots, but I have to cook them. You have to cook them all the way. But I also have other allergies too that have been making this journey difficult. I know now that I have SIBO, but this has been a long journey. Back in about 2020, 2021, more 2022, I think. 2022 for sure. It was the end of 2021 and into 2022 where I just really started getting sick. I was about 70 pounds heavier at my base weight, just like in general. And I started getting these migraines really bad. And then one day my tongue went numb and my face and my arm. And I kept seeing, like, there was like this, like, I couldn't see because there was like this geometric snake of light in my eye. And like, I say that to people and they're like, oh, that's a stroke. And it was just, it really just was like they were afraid of that. And it wasn't. It was like, so they sent me to a neurologist, made sure I wasn't having seizures. But they did say I was most likely having what's called an aura migraine. And aura migraines are your brain freaking out over some stuff. And it hurts. And it's weird. And it's strange. And then you have a bit of a hangover after on the next day whenever you get them. And so over a long period of time, I learned that I was supposed to be gluten-free. Turns out when you have SIBO, like, gluten intolerance is actually quite normal because there's, like, the stuff inside of you is eating the things that hurt your body. So gluten intolerance is relatively normal for people who have SIBO. Comorbidities and blah, blah, blah. And who knows what the core is, but eventually if you take care of one, you can take care of the other. But the SIBO part is apparently the part. Also, one of the hardest parts. I want to do it right the first time, so then I don't have to deal with this again. But SIBO can be caused by stress, antibiotics, hormones, a lot of getting food poisoning or stomach flu or just getting the flu. If you go some time without eating, certain bacteria can die off, and it's just about having the right ones at the right time. So, it's a delicate balance. People hate talking about food and what they have to eat and what they're not allowed to eat. I personally don't mind talking about food. I just know that people just like feel bad for me. And stop it. Stop it. And people want to feed me. And I want them to feed me too. I like being fed. I like trying new things. There's nothing you could put in front of me that I wouldn't be willing to try. I mean, now there's so many things I'm like, nope, can't. Nope. Hell no. You know, I mean, have you ever been constipated for 12 days in a row? Yeah. People think I think like whenever I tell doctors that they think I'm joking. Like that but I'm like, I counted the days. And they're like, oh, that's impossible. I'm like, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Like, technically, I'm sure they think. But I'm like, what do you think? Yeah, it is bad. You shouldn't do that in your body. But some people really just don't use the restroom that often. Because the metabolism is slowed down. 12:21 as I say that. And it's weird too, because like if you're a girl, it's like if you poop less, that's like good for you, right? Like, oh yeah, I only poop like once every 4 days. That's not good for you. Not everybody can eat all meat, by the way. Just because I'm doing it does not mean you're allowed to do it. Sorry. For whatever reason, that's what my body can eat. You might be able to eat only apples. I don't know you. You don't know you. I barely know me. I still don't know what foods I for sure can't eat. But I know that I avoid a bunch of foods simply out of fear. Because that penance is no joke. Okay? I'm choosing to ramble and talk and eat because usually what I like to do is watch a show while I eat, but couldn't figure out anything I wanted to eat or watch. So I figured, why not this? Why not talk to my camera? And maybe somebody else who's dealing with their stuff, who's eating their only apples because that's the one thing that they can eat. I mean, don't get me wrong. Right now, if I could eat only apples, that'd be so nice. Because I can't have apples right now because it has high fructose, and that sugar doesn't break down inside of the stomach organ. It breaks down in the small intestine, and SIBO stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And so the bacteria in my small intestines are the exact bacteria that we're trying to starve out. And what happens is like as they starve out and stuff, like you'll get like flu-like symptoms, you'll have muscle weakness and whatnot, but more than anything, you'll have cravings for sweets. Oh my gosh, cravings for sweet. But it's important to like do this with a doctor. Have have a primary care physician, I have a GI doctor, I have an allergist. None of them know what the fuck's going on. But a lot of it feels like I'm still having to figure it out for myself. But it's still nice to have a doctor to go to and be like, hey, like, am I right about these symptoms? Am I right about these things? And even like, it's a team effort. And you can still decide if you want to take the medicine they give you or not. But with this, I have to take certain antibiotics. But I need to take 2 types of antibiotics. We had to figure out exactly the type of SIBO that I have to make sure we're killing off the right bacteria. Because otherwise, if you're getting the wrong antibiotic, or if you're not getting the 2 antibiotics and you need the 2 antibiotics, it can make your gut bacteria even stronger because it's getting like a resilience. So it's important to get it right the first time. You treat it to prevent recurrence, to help prevent recurrence, to increase your odds of staying SIBO free. And so if I can be disciplined with eating meat, and I can be disciplined with eating whatever additional things that I'm allowed to add into my diet one day. No, actually, no. It won't be a diet then. It's a diet right now because we're actively trying to kill out the bacteria in my gut. But then I will have a nutrition plan where I'm adding nutrients back into my body. Confirmation burp. And also restoring the flora of my gut and putting in the good bacteria that is good for us. Worst case scenario, if this don't work, I will be getting a poop transplant. I don't know whose poop, but I don't care. Somebody who probably has good gut bacteria, and good for them, honestly. Good for freaking you. Because your gut affects mental health and cognitive, like, just so much of like our moods, our hormones, our lymphatic system, our cannabinoid system, it's like everything. And we know that, and we hate hearing it, and it's annoying because it's like, well then make it easy for us, and they don't make it easy. The only reason I'm doing this is because my ass was kicked so much by my guts that I'm literally terrified to eat other things. Like, that's the only reason why I'm able to be this disciplined, is because, like, literally, I was disciplined by getting my ass beat. Okay? Some people learn to be disciplined with just being like a little nudge. Like, hey, can you do it like this instead of this? And they're like, okay, yes, absolutely. And they do it. That ain't me. Apparently, I got to go in and touch the hot stove. Or used to. I didn't know then. I didn't know. But in order for me to hear my body, because of all the other things that happened to me in my life, in order for me to hear my body, it was going to have to be loud, because there were lots of things that I had already quieted down, like from a spinal injury from whenever I was like a little kid, and having back pain that would just come up, and I'd be like laid out for a week every once in a while. Like, there were so many things emotionally that I just was ignoring. And yeah, so things were weird. Things were weird. And that back pain still follows me to this day. I mean, there were times whenever the back pain was so bad, like, they were like, what is this? What is this? But it's not all the scary things they thought it was, at least. And I'm thankful for that. I don't need surgery or anything. I'm healthy. I'm healing my spine because I'm able to look at it a bit more holistically. And also because my body isn't so tired. My mind isn't so tired. I'm able to focus on creative endeavors and stuff like that because I'm not so bogged down from all this other stuff. So yeah, I've done. It's a lifestyle change. I've changed a lot. Like my old self would not recognize my new self. It would be like, what the hell? Wait, who are you? Yeah, it's true. Like even a year ago, there's no way. There's no way I would have been living this life. Like there's no way I would have thought that. Not saying I wouldn't have dreamed for it. It's true. Like I would have dreamed for it. I'd be dreaming for everything. Your girl's a dreamer, but it did take a lot of discipline and sacrifice, and also learning because like this has been since 2022 at least. It's like this is 4 years in the making of me figuring out my stuff. I mean, I'll say this is like my Saturn returns, but specifically, especially. But there's a shadow of the Saturn return for a little while, before and after. But it really was this like it was about that. It was my boundaries. I had no boundaries since I was a kid. Like all the things that happened to me were because my boundaries were never respected um, by everyone around me. I won't say never respected because my boundaries were respected. Like my mom was a cuddly person, but I wasn't a cuddly person. Like whenever I was a baby, and she didn't like require cuddles. She was just happy, like, okay, well we're going to sit next to each other, and that was okay. So yeah, it was just other people who just enjoy my energy, and they want to bask in it so much so that they don't care about how I feel. And I wanted to be liked so bad that I didn't care how I felt either, because being liked like gave me a dopamine rush enough to like accept these things, like, and even forgive people who are really mean to me. And now I'm just using all of that same stuff but on myself, because like I would do that for everybody else, but confirmation burp, I wouldn't hold myself to that same standard. Like I wouldn't like forgive myself in that same way, but I would forgive people for really dicking me over, like really fucking me over, really really bad people. And but then uphold those standards in me, like those new personalities were then inside of me. And I had to be perfect, and I had to be these things, and I had to be humble, and I had to be really good at things, but also not too good at things, and not too loud about how good I was at things. And bounce and walk and balance and walk and hope. Because if I do myself up too much and like wear makeup and wear all the pretty stuff, then I have to worry about my safety. Because that's how it was as a kid. Like my people's attraction to me was what caused a lot of my suffering. But I do get opportunities now. Like now I'm leaning into the pretty privilege, but it is still scary. And one day, whenever I'm able to eat real food again, I'll go back up to my chubby weight, you know? I'm okay with that. I was happy with her then. When I started losing weight, I was happy with being whatever weight I was. I had started buying clothes specifically for that body and seeing how fly I was and how cute I was and how everything looked. And I enjoyed my body. big and medium. And now I am learning to love my body at this weight, even though it can be scary for me because I want to be protected by my mass. A lot of bad things happened to me whenever I was small and pretty. Doesn't matter how many weapons I have now, I still remember that for some reason, being small and pretty makes people want to hurt you. Confirmation verb. More of a blurb. And at least I'm an adult, you know? I can be aware. I can have weapons and have a fighting chance. But there are still people that are just actually small and pretty who are kids. mm, mm, mm. Babies everywhere. And it's our job to protect them from all the things. And I feel like that's also food. I think that so many things are preying on us, and the children and the elderly are the most vulnerable, especially whenever it comes to food. Because, like, I have the time to go to a doctor, I have a PCP that is covered by my insurance, I have insurance, I have the ability to go see a doctor and get answers and get blood work. And the breath tests that I took is usually like a $300 breath test. I got that for free because of somebody had it as a sample. Like, I was given so many blessings along this way, so I have to be loud about it. I have to talk to people about this. Our food, especially here, like, has so many things inside of it that causes these other factors. It causes people to be able to fluctuate in their weight so rapidly. And really, for me, it's all a conspiracy theory. For me, it's all North Korea. You know? Maybe you don't, so I'll explain. When you go to North Korea, apparently, like in their stores, I haven't been there. I stay in America. But there's this rumor about North Korea. And go to their stores, and they'll have some rows of like produce, but then like the rest is like photos of produce lined up to make it seem like there's stuff in there. I've said this before and I'll say it again. America's doing the same thing, except like we have Hollywood. And so, like, I don't know if you've ever seen Batman with Christian Bale. And I don't know if you've ever seen The Machinist with Christian Bale. But actors can fluctuate weight. Or like, is it Chapter 23? With, what's his name? Jared Leto. He gained weight. So stuff like that. And so, say you're a producer and you need a bunch of extras and you need fat extras to be like, yeah, we're in a very fat place and we have food. Not only do you have to like have props for the actual food, because you've already seen how everybody else failed, to be like, oh, well, I was able to see behind the curtain of the facade there. So let's make sure to actually have products for people to buy. Let's make sure these stores look real good and they're set up nice. And not only that, they have a variety of those kind. Not only do they have cereal, they have a bunch of different types of cereal and different colors and different that. But everything's like stretched out ingredients. Like, instead of being like whole wheat, it's like baby wheat that has then been like chopped up, screwed, and like added baking soda and then like made into a a rock form. You know, it's just like America is better at making movies and making images and visions and telling stories, using props, fake blood, proper camera angles, good scoring so people know what to feel. It's in the culture. All that to make some money. All that to have a higher score. In the meantime, if everybody was fed right, like somehow like all of our society would be able to move forward and grow and actually like, and it wouldn't be about money, it would just be about having a good time, like, and people being taken care of, and it wouldn't have to be this competition, but that is what everything is. Everything has become a competition as to who can make the most money, not who can heal the most people. It's like we're keeping score of the wrong things. And then, if we're keeping score of like who can heal the most people, well, let's get a whole bunch of people sick so then we can heal the most people. And let's make sure to also get a little profit off of it. Instead of just like, I think the score of the world should be how many people need to be healed per year. Like, and it should be the lowest. And it should be lower. And if it's not, you need to keep getting lower, because the higher the amount of people that need healing on your planet means the lower score of consciousness you have. 3131. So, I don't know what to do about anything. I'm just going to eat my meat. While I can. And I am thankful for it. I really am. Because it's nice knowing at least I can eat some things. Oh, liver is a sweet meat, is what I was saying earlier. Chicken breast is a sweet meat. Certain fishes are kind of sweet. And like naturally the meats are just sweet. So that's what I pay attention to whenever I want something a little sweet. I don't really eat pork. Every time I have eaten pork, it makes me like bloated. So, well, my bloat isn't normal bloat. Like my bloat gets from like to like full on looks pregnant within moments, like within, I don't know, 20 minutes of eating something I'm not supposed to. But here's my last few bits of meat. And then I have a meeting. Been waiting on this meeting too. I say waiting, but more like weird, like things just kept happening, and then the meeting kept going. But the meeting is here. You know, when you're out there eating your meat or your apples or whatever it is, it's also okay for sometimes for you to be mad, to not be able to eat those things right. Those are things that you want to eat. This is like week 4 that I'm on of the SIBO biphasic diet. And the sort of the 4th week, because like the 2nd week I had some almond flour and I felt like I had too much of it, and that affected it because I really got bloated. But then also, you know, I'm a menstruating person, so I'm tracking that stuff too. And so that stuff makes it very complicated. Like I could be bloated because of PMS as well. So we're just continuing to see. While we're waiting for the doctors to be able to do whatever they're able to do or not. Liver has a lot of stuff in it, but it's like usually best if it's raw. I don't eat raw liver, so I eat cooked liver. But I eat a good amount of cooked liver to help get the nutrients. So I'm cool with eating liver. I like the way I cook things. And you know what it sounds like? Here's my little liver and chicken sandwich. My little slider. But you know, it's just salt and meat, right? But it's also how you cook the meat, um, how much salt you use. I use Celtic sea salt, because they say there's more nutrients in that. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I ain't been to the lab. But then adding water and cooking it at high heats and caramelizing the things and like letting this juice come up and come down and come up and come down with water and less water and reducing and whatnot and creating a bit of a gravy and a bit of a everything mixed together. Because just because you're eating very little ingredients, like if anything, that allows you to put more care into each ingredient. And I really thought that cooking wasn't going to be an option for me because I was just like, at one point I was just like throwing meat in the oven. Here, salt, meat, oven. But I started to see it differently. Instead of being upset that I'm stuck eating these things. Look, I could pretend that this is rye bread. But for now, I'm able to selectively starve out these things so that I can work towards my health. And so I can't really feel, I just don't feel bad for myself. I just feel like happy that I'm on the journey and I'm one meal closer to completing this journey. Bye.